Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the class once again. I hope you're all doing good and in the best of your health. So in this class we'll be practicing question on thermal properties of matter and the exercise will be NEET pattern based. NEET examination, the question asked are of moderate level of difficulty and each question has a single choice as the correct answer. It's an objective paper and you're having single choice as the correct answer. Now considering the NEET examination, thermal properties of matter, definitely one or two questions will be raised in this chapter. So you should be thorough enough within this chapter. Let's go ahead with the first question of the class. A black body is at a temperature of 5760 Kelvin. The energy of radiation emitted by the body at wavelength 250 nanometer is U1, at wavelength 500 nanometer is U2, and that at 1000 nanometer is U3. Wien's constant is 2.88 into 10 to the power 6 nanometer Kelvin. Which of the following is correct? A. U3 is equal to 0, B. U1 is greater than U2, C. U2 greater than U1, and D. U1 equals to 0. Now we all know that for different wavelength, as per Wien's displacement law, the curve is something like this. And if I draw a curve for intensity and lambda, the curve will be somewhat like this at any particular temperature. We find that there's a point of maximum intensity. This is the point of maximum intensity, and this lambda, particular lambda, is lambda m that I am marking, particular lambda for the maximum intensity. So the relation between this lambda and this particular temperature at which this curve is drawn, that is lambda m into T is equal to Wien's constant as per Wien's displacement law. This we have learned in our regular session. Now from here, if we go ahead and we evaluate the lambda m value, we will be obtaining lambda m will be equal to B by T. This is what we can say. Now after this, B value is given as 2.88 into 10 to power 6. You see here 2.88 into 10 to power 6 nanometer Kelvin into 10 to power 6 nanometer Kelvin. Next thing you see the value of temperature that has been given, that is 5760 Kelvin. 5760 Kelvin. So clearly after doing this we can obtain the value of lambda max, and lambda max, this lambda m value will come out to be 500 nanometer. What does this depict? This indicates that 500 nanometer is the particular value of lambda at which the intensity will be maximum. Now if intensity is maximum, we can directly connote with the relation with the energy, that is energy will be maximum in the case of 500 nanometer lambda. Now one thing you see, for 500 nanometer the energy emitted is U2. So we can see that U2 is maximum, so I'm writing that U2 will be maximum. The maximum energy will be in the case of 500 nanometer lambda. So U2 is maximum, so now let us compare. Given option number A, U3 is 0. At each lambda some energy will be emitted, so U3 cannot be 0. B, U1 greater than U2, that is also not a possibility because maximum is U2. Incorrect. C, U2 greater than U1, yes, this is correct because U2 is maximum, so U2 will be greater than U1. D, U1 is equal to 0. At each lambda we will be having some energy emitted, this will be also incorrect. So using Wien's displacement law, we have identified for which value of lambda we get the maximum intensity, and then we can directly connote that with energy and we can get the value of energy here. Question number 2. A piece of ice falls from a height h so that it melts completely. Falls from height h, melts completely. Only 1/4 of the heat produced is absorbed by the ice and all energy of the ice gets converted into heat during its fall. The value of h is, latent heat of ice is this much, and G equals to 10 Newton per kg. Now see that it's given that a piece of ice falls from a height h. You see here what's happening. There's a piece of ice, it falls through a height h. So as it falls through height h, it means all its potential energy will be used up and it will be lost, it will get converted into different forms of energy. So this is height h. So potential energy that is possessing at the topmost point, that is mgh. It says that it absorbs only 1/4 of it. Only 1/4 of the heat produced is absorbed by the ice. Only 1/4 of the heat produced is absorbed by the ice. So we can say heat absorbed is equal to mgh by 4. That's quite simple. mgh by 4, we can say that because 1/4 is absorbed and all the heat is lost. Next thing you see, it says that how much heat will be required? All the ice melts. So how much heat will be required? That will be equal to ml. So as ice melts completely, so we can say that as ice melts completely, we can say that heat required is equal to mass into latent heat of fusion of ice. Just equate both the two, mgh by 4 and mlf, equate both the two, you will be getting the value of h. If I equate 1 equals to 2, we are going to obtain mgh by 4 is equal to m into lf. Finally, h comes out to be, cancel out, it will come out to be 4lf divided by g. Clearly, now put up the values of each of the things. lf, if you see, it's 3.4 into 10 power 5 proper SI units. G is 10. Let's put up 3.4 into 10 power 5. 4 into 3.4 into 10 to power 5 divided by G, that the value is 10. I believe that clearly you can identify and calculate this. 34 into 4, that you are going to get, that is nearly 136. So 136, we use 10 to the power 4, it will be 10 to power 3 meters. This can be written as 136 kilometer. Clearly the answer will be 136 kilometer. Let's check the value of h, the height. A, 544, no, this is not we are getting. B, 136, this is the right response. C, 68, no. D, 34, no. So I hope that you have obtained how to solve this. In your NEET examination, the examiner is checking very simple concepts that you have learned. Question will be not difficult. If you know very basic things, you can easily answer the physics part of your NEET examination. It's not too tough. Let's go to the next question. Question number 3. A body cools from a temperature 3T to 2T in 10 minutes. The room temperature is T. Assume that Newton's law of cooling is applicable. The temperature of the body at the end of next 10 minutes will be A, 7 by 4T, B, 3 by 2T, C, 4 by 3T, and D, T. This is what we are going to see. First of all, what to apply? From Newton's law of cooling. From Newton's law of cooling, we all can easily say that the rate of cooling which we have learned in the class minus dt by dt is equal to BA and the change in temperature of the object with the surrounding. This is what Newton's law. So we need to put the value of dt. It cools from 3T to 2T. The change in temperature will be T, and in time that's given as 10 minutes. That is, a body cools from 3 to 2 in 10 minutes. So we have to put the value, all the thing. B and A are constant. A is the area, B is the constant. Then again delta T, we have to put the change in temperature with respect to body and its surrounding. So just what you do, take note till here. Let me put up all the values at the other end. Take note till here. Now here in this case, this formula is only applicable when the difference in the temperature of the object and surroundings is small. But here nothing is given like that, 3 to 2T. So we cannot be able to use this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another value, another way to represent the Newton's law of cooling. That is delta T, the change in temperature, is equal to delta T naught e to the power minus lambda into time. If we integrate the same equation for some finite value of temperature change, we can use this e to the power minus lambda t. This is the another way to represent the Newton's law of cooling equation. This delta T represents the change in temperature that has taken place, and this is the temperature difference between the object and the surrounding. We can use this. So this is what we have to use the Newton's law of cooling equation. So what we have to only put up the values. So you take note till here. Let me come to the values in the question. So take note till here. Now you see, if you see the values that we have to put, delta T and delta T naught. Delta T naught is the value of the temperature difference between the initial temperature and the room temperature. And the initial temperature is given as 3T. The room temperature is given as T. So you have to put instead of delta T naught as 3T minus T. And delta T is what? That is the change in temperature that has occurred. So that will be 3T minus 2T. This is what you have to put. So if I put all these values in this equation, we'll be having 3T minus 2T is equal to 3T minus T. This is what we're going to obtain into e to the power minus lambda into T. We're going to obtain this. Now clearly you can solve this. 3T minus 2T will give you T, and this will be equal to 3T minus 2T, sorry, that will be 2T e to the power minus lambda T. T is 10 minutes, so we need not to worry, T will be equal to 10 minutes. So e to the power minus lambda T comes out to be, this is clearly 1 upon 2. So we have obtained this will be clearly 1 upon 2. For the next case, you see here the body temperature is changing from 2T to some new temperature. We have to put that, and we can say that now the temperature difference between the object and surrounding will be 2T minus T. Let's come to the next case. For the next 10 minutes, for next 10 minutes, you see here what we need to do. Again, we'll be using the same formula. Delta T equals to delta T naught. Delta T equals to delta T naught e to the power minus lambda T. This is what we have to use. Now delta T, the difference in the final temperature reached, that let's say that is the T dash. Let final temperature after time 10 minutes be T dash. Let final temperature after 10 minutes be T dash. So what we can write is of delta T. Delta T will be 2T minus T dash is equal to delta T naught, that will be 2T minus T e to the power minus lambda T. We have evaluated that is equal to 1 by 2. Substitute here 1 by 2. Now this value 2T minus T dash, 2T minus T dash will be equal to 2T minus T, that is T into 1 by 2. Clearly from here you can get the value of T dash, that will come out to be 2T minus T by 2 will be equal to T dash. Hence T dash will come out to be 3 by 2 T. So let me write down here the value of T dash. The value of T dash will come out to be 2T minus T by 2, that is 3 by 2 T. So we have obtained 3 by 2 T. Let's go ahead and check the option. Option number is 7 by 4 T. No. B 3 by 2 T, that's the what answer we have got. C 4 by 3 T and D T. No, this is not the answer for this. Let's go ahead with the next question. The next question of the session. And let me just wipe this board. Question number 4. Certain quantity of water cools from 70 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius in first 5 minutes and to 54 degrees Celsius in the next 5 minutes. The temperature of the surrounding is A 45, B 20, C 42, D 10. Now here I am going to use the Newton's law of cooling equation in a different way compared to the one used in earlier. Both these cases are different. In that case we didn't know how much is the value of T, so we use the general equation. But in this case the change is small. So we can use minus dt by dt is equal to BA into difference in temperature of object and surrounding, that is delta T. Now here you see the object temperature cools from 70 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. So what temperature to take? We have to take the average of 70 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius to be the object's temperature. So average of 70 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius will be 65 degrees Celsius. So delta T will come out to be, that will be 65 minus room temperature. Capital T I am using for room temperature because that is what we need to evaluate. We evaluate temperature of the surrounding. So let us say T is the temperature of surrounding. After this you see the body cools from 70 to 60. The change in temperature will be 10. So let me use minus 10. The time taken is 5 and this is equal to B into A, and here we have to use delta T as 65 minus T. First thing we have obtained, let's say this equation number 1. Next thing you see, and to 54 degrees Celsius in the next 5 minutes. It means it cools from 60 to 54. So average of 60 to 54 will be 57. Average of 60 to and 54. 64 degrees Celsius and 54 degrees, 60 degrees Celsius and 54 degrees Celsius is equal to 57 degrees Celsius. Now the body cools from 57 to room temperature. So change in temperature will be how much? That is what we need to evaluate. We need to evaluate what's the change in temperature that's occurred. Now, so that is from 60 to 54, so 6. So minus 6 by 5 is equal to BA into change in temperature of the object and surrounding. 57 minus T. That is what we need to apply. Clearly, we got the second equation. Equation number 2. And here we have got equation number 1. If I divide 1 by 2, BA will be cancelled out. So clearly here we can see that 10 by 5, what you do, divide 1 by 2, is equal to, here you had 65 minus T, and here you had 57 minus T. Just go ahead, this is cancelled out, so you'll be having finally 10 by 6 is equal to 65 minus T into 57 minus T. So 10 into 57 minus T, you'll be getting 570 minus 10T is equal to 6 into 65. That will be 390. 390 minus 60. If using this equation, you evaluate the value of T, let's see what does it come. 570 minus 390, that will be 180. So 180 is equal to 10T minus 60, you will be getting 40. T will come out to be 45. So let me write down here the value of T that we are going to arrive at. T is equal to 45 degrees Celsius. Finally, this is the response that we are going to get, 45 degrees Celsius. Let's go ahead and let's check the option. A, 45 degrees Celsius, yes, that's the right answer. B, 20, no. C, 42, no. And D, 10, no. So I believe that you have got to know how to solve such questions. Question number 5, before that, just let me wipe the board for you all. Let's go ahead with the next question, question number 5. A black body is at 727 degrees Celsius. It emits energy at a rate which is proportional to A, B, C, D. The rate of energy emitted by a black body, this question has been asked in a previous examination, that is sigma A T to the power 4. Sigma is the constant, Stephen constant, A is the area, surface area that is exposed to the surrounding, temperature T is in Kelvin. So sigma A will be constant, temperature T will be 727 plus 273 to the power 4. You apply this, you will get sigma A, and 727 plus 273, that will give you 1000. This is the rate of energy emission. So sigma A 1000 to the power 4. How it is proportional? It's proportional to 1000 to the power 4. We can see. Don't use temperature in Celsius. That is what the examiner is checking. What temperature you're using. Use it in kelvins, and that will give you 1000 to the power 4, not 1000 to the power 2, not 727 to the power 4. If you remember this formula, you can answer this question very quickly and easily in your examination. Next question of the session, question number 6. Assuming the sun to have a spherical outer surface of radius r, radiating like a black body, at a temperature T degrees Celsius, the power received by a unit surface normal to incident rays at a distance r from the center of the sun is where sigma is Stephen's constant. Okay. First of all, you see, we need to find out what is the power received by unit surface. Let me tell you, the energy emitted is sigma A T to the power 4 by a black body. First of all, we know this. If this is sun, let's say this is sun, its radius is given, and let's say this is earth. Let's say this is earth, it is actually receiving the radiations from the sun. It's receiving the radiations from the sun. Now, the power of emission is this, sigma A T power 4 as per black body radiation, we know that. The intensity of radiation will be power by area. Power is this. This is rate of heat energy emission. Power is this. If I do power by area, I'll be getting sigma T to the power 4. This is what I'm going to obtain. Now you see that sun's temperature is T degrees Celsius. Taking a black body at temperature T degrees Celsius. So first of all, you have to convert it into Kelvin. You will be obtaining this as sigma into, and just write T plus 273 in kelvins. That is what you have to do, and power 4 also. So we obtained this. Now for the further question, let me just write at the other end. So take note till here. Let me write at the other end. Now see the intensity that we have obtained. This is the intensity at the surface of the sun. But here you see we require at a distance that will be from here. We need to obtain this. So for that, what we do, the power that this earth is going to receive, that will be equal to intensity into the area of till where it is received. We have to actually multiply the area. Here you can see the area will be 4 pi r square. You see what is small r? If you see, it's said that at a distance r from the center of the sun, we need to find out, and assuming the sun to have a spherical outer surface of radius r. So first of all, intensity that we have to use, that will be sigma, and this area that we have to use, that will be the area of the surface of the sun, that will be 4 pi r square. So we should also mention here sigma upon 4 pi r square. So what you do, just take note till here. Let me write at the other end. Take note till here. So what you do, you see that the radius of sun is given here as small r, and this distance is given as capital R from the center of sun. Let me write here capital R from the center of sun. This is what that has been provided to us. Now clearly you see that some values we need to also include. Here we should also write the value of this area, and this area will be different. Let me write this as A dash, and this is as A. And after this, if we calculate, we will be getting sigma. The value of this area will be 4 pi small r square, and this T to the power 4, that is T plus 273 to the power 4 divided by 4 pi capital R square. Will be obtaining this. This is the value of intensity received at the earth's surface. So sigma into 4 pi r square by 4 pi r square, you will be getting I is equal to 4 pi cancelled out, sigma small r square by capital R square T plus 273 to the power 4. This is what we are going to obtain. Let's check with the given result. 4 pi r square to the power 4 by r square, no. R square sigma T plus 273 power 4 upon 4 pi r square, and the result that we are obtaining, that is the same as sigma r square upon r square T plus 273 power 4. So option number B is matching. This is the right answer. Rest, this will be incorrect. And here you see we have the same value here. Here we have r square. Actually D is correct, and here it's given that 4 pi is not in the denominator, so B will be incorrect. Just I was quick enough, so I marked 4, but B option, but here we had 4 pi is not in the answer. So hence B will be incorrect. D will be the right answer. It's a good question actually, how to apply the concept of radiation and the Stephen's law in this case. Let's go ahead with the next question of the class. Question number 7. A black body at 1227 degrees Celsius emits radiation with maximum intensity at a wavelength of 5000 angstrom. If the temperature of the body is increased by 1000 degrees Celsius, the maximum intensity will be observed at A 4000, B 5000, C 6000, D 3000, and all are in angstrom. Black body at 1227 degrees Celsius. So initial temperature, if we write, that will be 1227 degrees Celsius. So this, if I convert it into kelvins, this will be 1500 Kelvin. Final temperature is increased by 1000 degrees Celsius. So we can say that the final temperature will be in kelvins also will be increased by 1000 Kelvin. So final temperature will be 1500 plus 1000 in kelvins, 2500 Kelvin will be the final temperature. Next you see, it is at 12276, we did that. The maximum intensity is at wavelength of 5000 angstrom. So if we use lambda m into T is equal to constant, this we know from Wien's displacement law and we have discussed it. So B will come out to be lambda m into T, and now you see that we are required, what's the value of lambda? The maximum intensity will be observed at a particular lambda. What is that? When the temperature is raised by 1000 degrees Celsius. So for initial, I am using lambda initial, temperature initial is equal to B, and finally that's required lambda m. For initial we did this as, let me use I, and this is F is equal to B. So if we divide both the two, if we divide both equation 1 by 2, we will be getting lambda m Ti equals to lambda m F into Tf. This is what we are getting. So we will be obtaining lambda mi into Ti is equal to lambda mf into Tf. We are going to obtain this. So final value of maximum intensity will be observed at lambda mi into Ti divided by T final. Just put up all the values. The value of the lambda for the first case, that is 5000 angstrom, provided here 5000 multiply with, in angstrom it is, initial temperature is 1500 and here the final temperature is 2500. Now clearly you can solve this, you will be getting 3000 angstrom as the value of lambda. So the value of lambda for which the intensity is maximum, that will be 3000 angstrom. Let's go ahead and check which of the option is matching. A 4000 no, B 5000 no, C 6000 no, and D 3000 angstrom. That's the right answer for this. Very simple question. We have to use the Wien's displacement law accordingly for this question. Next question of the class, question number 8. Consider a compound slab consisting of two different materials having equal thickness and thermal conductivity K and 2K. Respectively, the equivalent thermal conductivity of the slab is, when they are made to join in series, A 3K, B 4 by 3K, C 2 by 3K, and D root 2K. When we solve this question, I will also tell you a method finally after solving this, that how you can remember to solve this such kind of questions. Two slabs are provided, one with length L, thickness is same, so let's say area will be same, let's say the area of cross section is A. Another rod is also present of same length, but the conductivity is different. The first rod has got conductivity K and the second one has 2K, and they have the same dimensions put up here. When they are combined and made to join in series, we all know that in case of series combination, the heat resistance will be added up. So if I write, after joining in series connection, we can write that net resistance, heat resistance I am talking about, will be equal to individual heat resistance of each of the rod. Now when joining in series, we know that resistance is given as L by Ka. The length will be 2L. Let's say K dash is the new thermal conductivity, A is the area of cross section, that will remain the same. R1 will be L by Ka plus R2, the length will be again L and the value of thermal conductivity is 2K into A. You see what terms can be cancelled out, L, 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 A and A can be cancelled out. From here you see 2 by K dash is equal to 1 by K plus 1 by 2K. So we can write that 2 by K dash is equal to 1 by K. 1 plus 1 by 2 we get 3 by 2. So K dash will come out to be 2 into 2, 4 by 3 K. This is the value of thermal conductivity of the combined slab, that will be 4 by 3 K. Let's see the answer. Option number A, 3 K, no. B, 4 by 3 K, yes, we obtained this. C, 2 by 3 K, no. And D, root 2 K, no. This is not the answer. So hope that you have got how to solve such kind of question, and we have discussed such kind of question in our regular session about the thermal resistance. We have discussed it already. And you can relate that it's a case of series connection of electrical wires. In series connection, we all know that resistance gets added up. In that way you can remember. I have told you the heat resistance is L by K. In that way you can remember this thing. Next question, question number 9. Rate of heat flow through a cylindrical rod is H1. Temperature of the ends of rod are T1 and T2. If all the dimensions of rod become double and temperature difference remains same and rate of heat flow becomes H2, then H2 equals to 2H1, B H2 equals to H1 by 2, C H2 equals to H1 by 4, D H2 equals to 4H1. Now say it says cylindrical rod. So we need to see it will be having a radius, it will be having a length. So let me draw the rod. It's a cylindrical rod. It will be having a radius, it will be having a length. Now rate of heat flow, if we write H1, that is K into area will be pi r square into difference in temperature, that is the ends are maintained T1 and T2. So let me write this as T2 minus T1 and divided by, we have written K divided by length, that is L. Now after this, it's given that the dimensions are doubled. It's given that the dimensions are double. If all the dimensions of rod become double and temperature difference remains same. So difference in temperature T2 minus T1 will remain same, rest all dimensions are double. So just we need to put the new value of radius and length. So before that, what to do, just take note till here. Let me write at the other end with new values, take note till here. Now you see here in this formula, I am putting up the new value of radius. The new radius R dash will be equal to twice of R, and new value of length L dash will be equal to twice of L. So if I put the rate of heat energy emitted, that is transmitted H2, so K will be same, area will be pi into 2R whole square. So that will give you 4R whole square. 2R whole square will give you 4R square. Multiply with T2 minus T1, divide by length is 2L. So this will obtain 2K pi R square multiplied with T2 minus T1 divided by L. Clearly this value is H1, we have already knew that its value is H1. Substitute this as H1, you will get H2 is equal to twice of H1 for this case. H2 equal to twice of H1 we obtained. Let's see how they are related. Option number A, H2 equal to twice of H1, yes. B, H2 equals to H1 by 2, no. C, H2 equals to H1 by 4, no. D, H2 equals to 4H1, that is incorrect for this. Hope that you have got how to do such kind of question. Okay, now after solving this question number 9, I believe that you have got how to solve this. Let's go to question number 10. 10 grams of ice cubes at 0 degrees Celsius are released in a tumbler, water equivalent 55 gram at 40 degrees Celsius. Assuming that negligible heat is taken from the surroundings, the temperature of the water in the tumbler becomes nearly given L equals to 80 calorie per gram, that is the latent heat of fusion of ice, that is 80 calorie per gram. A 31, B 22, C 19, D 15. Let's check which of the option matches. 10 grams of ice cubes at 0 degrees Celsius are released. So first of all, from the principle of calorimetry, we know that heat gained equals to heat lost. When ice melts, let's say the equilibrium temperature, the final temperature or the steady state temperature is theta. At steady state, temperature attained is theta. Let's say this is steady state temperature attained is theta. So when ice melts and reaches to temperature of theta, we will be having heat gained by ice, this will be equal to m into L when ice gets converted from ice to water at 0 degrees Celsius plus mass of ice m multiply by the specific heat capacity of water, let's say it's S, into difference in temperature theta minus 0. Now you put up all the values, you see that 10 gram of ice. So I'm putting it in grams, 10 gram of ice, L is 80 calorie per gram, put here 80 plus again 10 grams, specific heat capacity of water is 1 calorie per gram per degree Celsius and into theta. So this will be 800 plus 10 theta. In calories, you will be obtaining the value of heat that is obtained by ice. Now you see what will the heat lost. It says that released in a tumbler water equivalent 55 gram. So given the water equivalent of the tumbler, that is 55 gram. So heat lost by tumbler, that is hot water equivalent is 55 grams. So use 55 multiply by specific heat capacity, that is 1 calorie per gram, multiply by difference in temperature. So that will be 40 minus theta. So 55 into 40 minus theta, that will be the value. Therefore, now from principle of calorimetry, heat gained is equal to heat lost. Now clearly heat gained by ice, that we have already evaluated, 800 plus 10 theta. 800 plus 10 theta is equal to heat lost 55 into 40 minus theta. Clearly you can solve this. It's not a big problem. 55 into 40, 5 into 4, 20, 0, 2, 5 into 20. This will come 2200 minus 55 theta is equal to 800 plus 10 theta. Now you can clearly solve this. It's not too tough. Calculation is not too tough over here. You can clearly solve this. We'll be getting, after solving, theta will be 21.5 degrees Celsius. Now 21.5 degrees Celsius, that is very near to 22 degrees Celsius. Let's check with the option. The options matching are A 31, that's incorrect, B 22, that's the right answer, C 19 incorrect, D 15 incorrect. Hope that you have got how to solve such kind of question. It's not too tough question and we can easily solve this by principle of calorimetry. These are all the 10 questions that you have got in this exercise. I'll get back with you all in the next class with more discussion, more concepts and more illustrations. Till the time, thank you for joining with me and wish you all the very best.